All right. So thanks, Mike. Thanks for your time, dude. Mr. Cutco Mike. And I love what you're doing with social media. And I love what you're doing for your customers and having your biggest year ever again, up over $700,000 this last year. And I noticed a lot you do on social media has really helped you. And as a newly promoted division coordinator, my CSPs are jealous and intrigued and excited to kind of learn. So thanks for your time here. I have some questions from them, and also just love for you to give some fire tips, as you always have, on what you're doing just to really know how, like, basically utilize social media, knowing how important it is for your business, and some of the systems you have in place, and specifically for top sellers and CSPs. So would you like to take it away with some fire tips, or should I ask some questions first?
You are a stud yourself, and you're very positively just patient and persistent. So I know all of our time's limited, but we always make time for the right things and the right people. So thank you for just being willing to follow up and be patient with me. But we're deliver some goods and some fun. So yeah, wherever you're at in your career watching this, and whatever year it is, we're in 2019, but the Facebook program for me started when I canceled or stopped being a DM in 2010. So I was using it as a office, which I think helped me, but my passion was selling. So back in the day when I was an office guy, I mean, team meetings, I would always do a theme team meeting, always take pictures, always add my reps right when they got hired. Because my belief is, if we're truly transparent with what we do, faith, family, friends, finances, people will see the real us. And when people see the real us, they buy into it because it's real. So I'm never a fan of people that are just, a robot or a stage person or an actor, because the real true loyalty, whether it's a rep, an assistant, a customer, comes from people seeing you, who you are. And Facebook and social is really the best platform for that, because email, is just text, and you only get to see people. I mean, once in a while if you're a rep, and if you're a manager, obviously they get to see you more, but it allows you to invite them into your home and into your way of life. So back then I did it as a manager, and what's kind of cool now is 7, 8, 9 years later, I'm getting these reps buying Cutco from me that sold Cutco from me. So if you're a manager watching this, I mean, this could be future business, in 5 or 10 years, because people are still following you. Because when they're new, they're trying to make money and they're trying to be great. But, when they get older in a real job, or maybe they move on and use their skills to help them with their true career job, they have the money to buy from you. So that's kind of cool. But this is more for customers too. So I just love it because my customers are my family. So if they're truly my family and they're who helped me run a business, all the nice things I've been blessed with, I want them to know that it's just not a Mike Dawid representative for a few minutes when they see me. It's, hey, this is like my son or my daughter or nephew or son-in-law or friend, or it's like, a kid from church, or it's like a kid I taught. Whatever the customer is to you, they can look at you in a different way opposed to just a salesman or a saleswoman. So, and you can just fire away too, man. But some of the things I love about it is it allows me to see my customers too, like on a daily basis. Like, I see when they travel and they have a kid or a grandkid, or they're doing something, or, sometimes they're commenting about some crazy issues, but, I'm not a fan of really going down that rabbit hole, but you kind of get to see who people really are. And then it gives you just supercharged rapport. I mean, when you have true rapport with somebody, they allow themselves to let their guard down and really become friends with you. And then, selling becomes almost just easy, right? So, yeah, I mean,
Sure. Question.
I could share with you, like, as far as, like, I would say, like a formula, but it's really about posting stuff that means stuff to you. So I'm always a fan of sharing my family with my customers and people who follow me. friends and followers. So I love giving shout outs and tags, and sometimes it's hard to keep up with happy birthday. So I'm not the best at wishing people happy birthday because I have so many people that follow me or I follow. So that's my weakness, but I love giving tags and shout outs, or when I'm with people like John Rulin or my friends that are maybe not super camera savvy, they're like, you're the best at PR or taking pictures. So I love creating moments for other people and then posting it because it's not always about me, it's about the event or the function you're at. So sometimes just being good at social media is allowing others to be highlighted, right? You know, as a manager, you know, imagine if you continue to highlight your reps or your people that, you know, maybe never got that public display of gratitude or appreciation. You tag them. I mean, not just tagging them with a check in their hands, you know, that's kind of the easy thing to do, but tagging them and giving them just a ton of, you know, just love, or taking a picture of them just working, or maybe going field training with them and taking a picture of them with their customers. And then I'm always a fan of like funny stuff, but not like offensive stuff. So I always look
Mm-hmm.
at what the market's doing or what the season is. So, you know, yesterday we had the Super Bowl, so it's easy to do current events and make it fun. So, you know, holidays are easy. If there's like the memes that take off, or like the 10-year Facebook profile pic, you know, whatever people are doing, try to like do it in a fun you way, right? Not offensive way, but it just kind of keeps up with what's popular. You know, back in the
I've heard that termed as news hacking. So whatever's happening, whether it's a presidential election, whatever's going on, you kind of hack what people are already looking at, already aware of, that you kind of hack into that. You just hang on to the coattails of what people are already doing. So yeah, I think that's really good.
Fire
Really
away,
good
man.
tip.
I want to learn too. So hacking, right?
Oh, sure.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead. I mean, I got some more stuff too, but
Sure. I have some follow-up questions based on what you've already said.
go for it.
So do you have a specific time, Mike, that you are following up with customers? You're doing like specific strategic social media time, or is it just throughout the day when you have time? It's just you're always doing something on social media for your customers.
And if my wife is watching this, she would probably say, Mike, you got to put your phone down a little bit. So there's an element of just lifestyle and balance, but there's also an element of, if you're on your phone on Facebook, like might as well make it beneficial, right? Or add some
Mm-hmm.
value. Or if you are posting or numbing your brain, like try to get something out of it, whether it's engagement or if it's giving somebody a shout out, or just learning something opposed to just numbing your brain, because that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
good. So I don't really have a time. I would say, you know, if it's after a big sale or an event or something that I'm really excited about, I'll try to post it that day, because you really only have like a 1 day of freshness, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being of freshness. So um, I don't have a time. I don't have an assistant. It's really, hey, if I'm on my phone, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
try to do something that creates engagement, creates awareness, creates a shout out,
Okay.
creates praise. So, you know, and I don't really think you need an assistant, because
Okay.
it is basically you're hiring somebody to be your face, and
Mm-hmm.
your brand
Mm-hmm.
face is you. So why wouldn't you do it? I mean, if you're not on Facebook, well, either get on it and get good at it, or just don't even do it, because there's no point of a person who's not wanting to be themselves to hire somebody, because I mean, it'll just be like a billboard, generic.
Mm-hmm.
So generic doesn't really sell, maybe to a 1% or a 5% market. I want to capture a 50% plus, you know, market of people, right? So
Mm-hmm.
does that help with that question a little bit?
Oh, for sure. For sure. Another one would be, do you do anything at your shows or on your demos or your emails that get people to follow you?
Yeah, I mean, well, the biggest thing is you can't really do any of this unless you have people that like your page or add you.
Mm-hmm.
So just like a rep, when you ask for referrals, like I ask for Facebook approval. So right then and there at the end of the demo, it's ingrained in my DNA to say, hey, do you Facebook? And if they say yes, I say, well, hey, I'm never going to bug you or bother you, but one of my things my customers love is to see that I'm not just a salesman, I'm your friend, I'm your guy. And then when you need something, Facebook's just the easiest way to send a message or comment or tag on something. So, hey, grab your phone, and then open up your app real quick. And if they're kind of really slow, I'll say, hey, do you mind if I just do it for you? And then I'll just type in my name and then add me, and then I'll like me. So I'll do both. So I'll do my business page, and then I'll add my personal page. And, some people, like you can tell, like they either don't do it or they don't want you to do it. So then you just back off. But if you really sell yourself in the demo and you sell the value of having the long-term connection. So I also add like, hey, I do a monthly giveaway. You get to see fun stuff. And then when I'm at the shows and doing kind of really good deals, you get to see that on Facebook. So it's just really easy to find me when you need something, but you got to do it there, because if you don't, they're not going to find you later. There's a few things I do that help later, like on my Vector Connect emails. After I roll an order on the bottom, I'll always add, hey, and if you want to follow me and get into contests and free stuff, like my Facebook page and add me. So I ask into my Rolo confirmation. So once in a while,
Rolo email. It's good.
So if you're a manager or rep, like that's an easy thing. Once in a while, you get people that add you that way, but you gotta do it right then and there when you see them or in front of them.
Yeah. How are you so good at getting people to take pictures with you? You just promote that you're a celebrity in Cutco?
To build up the experience, right? So if you're helping somebody get great knives or a Cutco kitchen or flatware, you got to make them feel like they're buying a house or a car, right? Because this is going to last longer than most likely both of those, and they're going to use them just as much. So I call it the Kodak moment. If you remember back then, Kodak was the brand of camera. Now it's the iPhone moment, but I love allowing people to have that fun, and it creates energy at the booth. It allows people on your following to see that people are buying, and then it's an easy way to say, hey, I'm going to add you and tag you, and then the people that just bought get to see all the likes, all the comments, and then their circle of friends that you're not even connected with get to see it. So I mean that's a whole other market of potential customers that get to see and experience you and Cutco. So I mean, if you're just like creepy, awkward, and weird, and you're like, hey, can I take a picture of you? It's you're not going to get a whole lot of people excited. But if you're like, hey, and one of the best parts about is at the end we get to do a Kodak moment. You get to hold up your flatware chest or your set, and then if you're okay with it, I kind of give you a little shout out later because my customers love to kind of be engaged with what's happening, and then you could share your goals and why you're doing it. And people love it. Not everybody's for it, and sometimes if people are like, maybe they don't, like the women don't feel like they have their makeup on that day, and they're just like, I'll just say, you don't have to, like there's no pressure, but I want you to know that I offered it to you, because when you see the post later, just know I gave you the chance to be famous tonight, so.
Cool. And how do you make all of your great you have so many great and clever posts and pictures. What app or how do you make those cool pictures?
Well, unfortunately, Cutco is a corporation, and every image they have is registered trademark. So, unfortunately, now in current times, you really can't just rip Cutco's images. And I'll tell you right now, I've been guilty of getting busted by Cutco. So if you're a new rep or an old rep and you just want to pull pictures off of Cutco's website, it's you're doing something illegal, and you probably won't get arrested, but Cutco will probably ask you to take it down. So share pictures from Cutco's corporate site. So like you could start liking and following Cutco on Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, and then just use the share feature, and then just add your own little blurb or sentence. So that's a way to kind of like get engagement, and you don't have to worry like if you're like, well, I don't want to advertise Cutco's corporate site because they won't buy from me. No, I mean if they like you, know you, and you're the rep, on their following your page, like they're gonna buy from you. So that's just a corporate message, but don't just rip and steal Cutco. What I would do if I were you is like if you're cooking or you want to start cooking, a lot of you guys see I cook steak, and I always capture my images because I want to see the real side of Cutco, right? Not just a corporate image. Some of those are nice to share once in a while if it's good and funny, but when people see you using it, like so if you're a manager, like day 2 food cutting, like demo or whatever you guys do now with managers, like I haven't seen any managers going live. Or, I mean, imagine if you made that experience live and then you had your reps, tag themselves and then their parents get a sneak peek before the demo. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here, but, create the experience and the fun with the truth, right? You using it, you believing in it. And then I just do other fun stuff. Like I'll use face in the whole app, and then I'll put my picture in different funny things. If it's like this time, or I'm working a boat show, or I'm a doctor, knife doctor, Cutco Mike. So, there's always quirky little apps. And then, you could do little polls, like where you're just trying to create engagement. Like, hey, once again, like I just did the Super Bowl, who are you picking to win? All that stuff has a method to the madness, because now people are clicking, they're liking, they're commenting. So now your algorithm through Facebook and social kind of starts to get some traction, right? So it's not always, hey, here's my Valentine's Day special. My belief is I'm not going to offer a special unless I absolutely need the business, need the sale, or it's just too good to not like show off. So you don't want to oversell Cutco, because remember, we sell forever products, so it's not every day people need Cutco, but when they need it, they'll follow up with you and they'll get it. So I'm more of a fan of creating fun, engagement, sharing my real life 90% of the time, and then it's kind of like product placement, but without offers. Because if somebody's serious about it, they'll reach out to you with a message or a comment, right? So it's creating the awareness and creating the excitement and creating the belief without advertising a price or a cost or a deal. Because if someone really wants it or they're interested, then they'll comment, or they'll bring it up when they see you. But it's just creating the light bulb to go off.
Awesome.
So,
Then
and then yeah, just using like font sometimes, or you make in the background a color. It's creating just ways to get people to see your post. And just ask yourself, like, if you were a customer and you were seeing somebody you buy from, like, would you want it to be like always sales, or would you want it to be fun, family, humor, polls, surveys, and more engagement, right? So.
Okay. Now, a couple other apps I've heard of people use. I'm not sure if you've used them before, but Canva. Canva is really good. Spark is good. I think there's an Adobe version as well. It might be Spark, and then also a Letterglow. Letterglow is another really good one that I know I've heard some people use to make some good images. And again, obviously, don't rip off Cutco's or Cutco Mike's, but they're great ideas. And like to make your own, I think is kind of cool. I've seen you do some, like, there's been so many great things that didn't even mention Cutco in it. It was like, it just was clever, and it was you, and I know it got a lot of traction, and your customers appreciated it. So that's awesome. It's awesome. I have a few more questions here.
I love that you're sharing, so keep it going, bro.
Yeah. Who do you get your ideas from, Mike? Or is it all up here in the bank?
I would say I've been blessed with just a creative mind, so not everybody has that, but I'm always trying to think of like what's next, or what's fun, or what gets people talking or liking, because it's really obviously we don't want negative press, but sometimes they say a negative press is, like, for example, at the Super Bowl, I'm already seeing like people are talking about like the commercial of like vegans are mad because they had like something called like meatloaf, and it was meatloaf with beets or something, like, so it's like whatever your beliefs are, like, it probably wasn't to make vegans mad, but now it's getting talked about. So it's like I always want to talk about Cutco in my life in a positive way, and I'm always going to steer towards that. But I'm a fan of it's better to post something than not, because I'm always going to run circles around the person that overthinks, and I'd rather do it and then delete it if for some reason it turns out to be offensive. Knock on wood, I don't think I've had anything.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So your creative mind.
Yeah. I mean, there's books out there like, guerrilla marketing, and I'm sure there's a ton of social media books out there that you could buy.
Right.
There's
Gary Vee is really good. There's a lot of good ones. Hmm. Okay. And then what's your philosophy on using Instagram versus Facebook? And how do you distinguish the two or utilize the two differently?
Both of them are connected. So if you do Instagram, you can just click a little share account feature or in settings or
Hmm.
account, and then you kind of knock out two birds with one stone. So
Hmm.
uh, I do kind of the same on both because one is it carries over. I'm actually only posting on Insta Story because the Insta Story will go over to the Facebook story. So
Hmm.
both or Facebook, it doesn't go over to Instagram. Start building an Instagram following because your
Hmm.
stories will transfer over to Facebook. And then Instagram's more like pictures, and then Facebook's just it's a ton of stuff. It's almost become
Hmm.
too much now with videos and ads, and so I really think Instagram is a great like starting platform because you can do stories, and then you can tag and mention, and then you could also just highlight a cool picture, and then all you got to do is in settings put link to your Facebook, and then
Hmm.
it carries over. So
Cool.
does that help?
Cool.
That makes
Oh,
sense.
that's great. Yeah. Um, when when would you recommend someone as an aspiring, this is mainly geared towards like CSPs, up and coming big sellers, shipping 50 to 100,000 a year and up to your status level as well. When would you recommend, Mike, someone gets their own Facebook business page?
Well, I mean, if you know you're going to quit, there's no point in starting that. But I think the more you make yourself a professional, or the more you make yourself a consultant, or the more you talk about your brand, it's harder to quit. So I would say do it right away. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's obviously rules that you want to follow on Vector Connect. So you can't have like the word Cutco in your name, and you want it to be your name, comma, independent sales representative. But I think that you should have both because there's always people that are just gonna like look more on the business side. The only thing about the business side of the liking a business page is you kind of have to pay to play. Like you have to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Cutco is not allowing reps to like sponsor posts and stuff like that. But
And boost. Okay.
you don't really get those to be noticed a lot because that's how Facebook makes their money is off the business and the advertising. But I think it's good because you could create events on there and advertise a sharpening
Mm-hmm.
event, or if you're at a show, or if you're doing a contest. Um, so I would say I'm only using it about 25% of the time. A lot of the times I'll rip dash share the Cutco stuff on my business page,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll
Yeah.
share my business page stuff on my personal page. So that'd be kind of my chain of.
Okay.
And
Okay.
business page is just good because you can create a nice bio, and then you can get reviews, and reviews always help. And then what you could do is, I think they have a feature where you can actually upload an email list, or you could start. I know LinkedIn does that, where you can actually email your email list for those people to like your page or find you on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
But I would say, if
Okay.
anything, this message is really designed to get people on your personal page,
Okay.
and just
Cool.
your business life on your personal page.
Cool. I have two more questions. Nick, do you have anything? No. Um, I would say, and I didn't prep you for this, or I didn't. I don't know if you know the numbers, but do you have any idea how much business came off of a social media, like in 2018, social media posts? Whether it was a past customer or a friend of a customer. Do you have a sense of how much business was created from you via your social media posts and shares and your branding that way?
It's hard for me to track it for a few reasons. Because one, I'm not doing it to just like make sales. I'm doing it to create long-term loyal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't have an exact answer, but I'll say it's probably the most of anybody in Cutco.
Oh
It's
yeah.
hard
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes people see a post and then I'll see them months later at my state fair or a home show, and then
Mm-hmm.
they'll bring up like, "Oh, I noticed you traveled here," or "I noticed you had another kid," or "I noticed. Tell me about that cookware that you've been talking about." So you can't really say it was directly from Facebook because you still had to sell it at the booth or in person.
Mm-hmm.
But it
Mm-hmm.
created the, touch or awareness that I wouldn't have had. So in advertising as managers, we would always say it takes 7 times for somebody to see an ad, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is just another little time for somebody to see or hear something. But I would say if you had to like say a number, probably like 50,000 or more in
Mm-hmm.
sales,
Okay.
that were like people either came to saw me because of a post, they saw something I shared or did on a story. Um, but it really helps you at the end of the year. So,
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of reps like to do it because it's really like you're doing a lot of work for
Yeah.
a lot of return. But then at the end of the year, when people are in the buying spirit because of Christmas or the holidays they celebrate, you really could use that as a tool where like a lot of you notice me, like I create these countdowns at the end of the year and
Mm-hmm.
I'm this far away. And that's where you're kind of like asking for more help. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
the people that are trying to raise money on the news show, right? Or the fundraisers, but you're not
Yeah.
like overpowering it on them. You're doing it at the end of the year when they're like, oh man, Jason or Mike's a great guy. Like, I want to help them. Or, hey, honey, we do need that. Or, hey, honey, we've been thinking about that. And then they'll message you or comment or they'll come see you. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say your meat of your orders will come like the last few weeks of the year or around Black Friday to Christmas. And the
Mm-hmm.
rest of the year is just keeping people engaged and staying fresh.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Awesome. And I know you've a wonderful family you're building, including your dog back there. I'm sure you have other things to get to here. So do you have any other final tips or things you think that would help someone who's, trying to dive into more social media marketing?
I would say if you're gonna follow the post structure, it's like, share to your family, share your friends, and engage with your followers. So it's also smart to like and comment on people's posts because then they see that you're into them too, and then it'll start to keep you guys seeing each other's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, make some funny stuff, not political or offensive, but try to hack whatever's popular. And then if you have a faith or a passion, don't be afraid to share it. I'm not, I'm a Jesus loving Christian, but I fall short and I make mistakes and I sin. And I'm not the guy who's posting a Bible verse every day and saying, you need to go to church. But, on Sunday or when I'm reading the good word, like I'll share that. And I just want people to know, like, that's important to me, but I'm not going to, like, throw it at you and force feed it on you. So, like, if you have faith or passions, it's good to, like, drizzle those in there once in a while because
Mm-hmm.
people will pick up on it. But I
Yep.
wouldn't be
It makes you you.
all 100% because then it's almost like semi a turn off,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not a bad thing towards my faith or your passion. It's just you don't want to be that person that's like all that person talks about is this or all that person does is this. Even if you're a fitness person, we get it. You're in shape, right? You don't need to like advertise every step of the day, everything you've ever done. Like if you do it once in a while, like, hey, we know that's your passion, right? And then facts, like it's good to like share facts about Cutco, or if you're, into sports, or I love, Tom Brady in sports and the greatest of all time people. So like that's what motivates me. So like if you have things that are like factual, don't be afraid to share that. And then it's good to drizzle product information and promotions because it gives people a chance to learn. But I would say promotions without a price because one, prices change. You might give them a different deal, and you don't want it to
Mm-hmm.
backfire. You don't want to like hook up somebody with a deal at a show, and then somebody who's willing to pay full price sees that, or it confuses your customers. So I'm never a fan of for putting prices online because it's backfired for me, and I want people to get the experience when they either reach out to me or see me in person. And then the last thing is like keep it fresh. You do have to post daily or at least multiple times a week. And if you're gonna post, I would say usually like between 7 and 9 because you got your morning people, scrolling at the coffee table or on the toilet, and then at night when they get home, sitting on the couch, 7 to 9. So those are usually kind of the best times I like to post. So hopefully that helped. And this is kind of
Yeah.
the beginning of this, so maybe we'll do a 2.0 call.
Sure.
Learn more stuff and
Yeah. And if people want to follow you and kind of see some best practices and see all of your cooking escapades and your awesome family, where can they follow you?
I would say Instagram is easy. It's at my knife guy, my knife guy, and I'm sure if you maybe put in Mike or Cutco Mike, it might pop up. But and then on Facebook, just Mike Dawid Cutco, and feel free to like or add me. And at some point, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to ask people to stop following me because once you get 5,000 friends, you kind of peak out. So
don't follow you.
Huh? Well,
So don't follow you because you have a lot of customers who want to follow you. You have a lot of fans.
What'll happen eventually, because I'm at about 3,000, is I'll make a post saying, if you don't want to learn about my family, my faith, and Cutco, I won't be mad if you stop friending me.
That's good. Well, thanks for all you do. Thanks for all you do and the value you brought here. Really appreciate it, and hope this helps a lot of people.
Yeah, we'll get the recording out. Make sure you can enjoy the start of it. So thanks for wanting to learn, buddy, and tell your guys keep up the good work.
Of course. Thanks, Mike.